Okay, let's dive right in. We hear this word inflammation thrown around all the time, but what does it actually mean for our bodies? And, more importantly, what can we do about it? Today, we're going to break down the really powerful link between the food you eat and the inflammation inside you, all based on some pretty fascinating research.
So let's just start with a question that gets right to the point. Is your diet secretly fanning the flames of chronic inflammation? It's a serious thing to consider because, look, some inflammation is good. It's essential, even. But a constant low-level fire simmering inside your body, that can be a real problem long-term.
And this slide just perfectly shows the two sides of the story. On one hand, you've got good inflammation, the protector. That's your body's amazing first responder team. It rushes in to heal a cut or fight off a cold. It's short, it's sharp, and it's super helpful. But on the flip side, you have bad inflammation, the saboteur. This is that chronic, smoldering state that can quietly do damage for years. And that's the one we really need to get a handle on. But here's the really empowering part. We are not helpless here. Not at all. In fact, one of the most powerful tools we have against this chronic inflammation is sitting right in our own kitchens. So let's open up this edible toolkit and see which foods can really fight back. First up, we have nature's brightest defenders. And here's a great rule of thumb to keep in mind. Those deep, vibrant colors you see in fruits and vegetables, that's often a sign that they are packed with powerful, inflammation-fighting nutrients. So basically, think about eating the rainbow. So let's look at what's going on inside these foods. Berries, for example, are just loaded with antioxidants called anthocyanins. Peppers give you a great shot of vitamin C and another compound called quercetin. Tomatoes are a key source of lycopene. And broccoli? It's rich in something called sulforaphane, which is amazing because studies show it can actually help dial down those inflammatory molecules in our body. And hey, speaking of tomatoes, the source material had this fantastic pro tip for getting the most bang for your buck. It's a really simple kitchen trick that actually makes a huge difference nutritionally. So here's the deal. Lycopene is what's called a fat-soluble nutrient. And all that means is that our bodies have a much easier time absorbing it when we eat it with a little bit of fat. So cooking your tomatoes in some olive oil, that's not just for flavor. It's actually a science-backed hack to unlock way more of their anti-inflammatory power. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so let's move from the garden over to the sea for our next set of tools. We're talking about fatty fish here, which are absolute powerhouses when it comes to omega-3 fatty acids. So you're looking for fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. They are packed with two very specific, very potent omega-3s, EPA and DHA. Our bodies actually convert these into compounds called resolvins and protectins, and they do exactly what their names suggest. They help resolve and protect against inflammation. But you don't always have to be shopping the fresh aisles to find these things. Some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory ingredients might already be hiding in your pantry. Let's talk about turmeric. You've probably heard all the buzz, and it is all because of its active ingredient, curcumin. Study after study has shown that this stuff is a seriously powerful anti-inflammatory, able to reduce inflammation linked to everything from arthritis to diabetes. But get this. Here's a totally mind-blowing number. Our bodies are actually not great at absorbing curcumin on its own. But if you add just a little bit of black pepper, which has a compound called piperine, you can boost how much curcumin your body can use by up to 2,000%. It's a perfect food pairing. And check this out. This is a quote from the research that really puts things into perspective. Extra virgin olive oil has an antioxidant in it called oleocanthal. Its anti-inflammatory effect is so potent that it's actually been compared to drugs like ibuprofen. I mean, that really shows you the power of food, doesn't it? Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds really healthy, but what about dessert? Is there any room for a little treat in an anti-inflammatory diet? Well, I have good news for you. Dark chocolate is definitely on the list. It's packed with antioxidants called flavonols, which are fantastic for keeping the cells that line your arteries nice and healthy. The trick, though, is to choose the right kind. The rule of thumb is to go for at least 70% cocoa content. And that number is key because it means you're getting more of those good flavonols and, just as important, less sugar. Okay, so we have filled our toolkit with some amazing inflammation fighters, but a good defense is only half the strategy. To really get this right, we have to look at the other side of the coin and understand the foods that can actually fuel that internal fire. And yeah, this list probably won't have too many surprises. We're talking about things like sugary drinks, processed meats, most fried foods, and those refined carbs like white bread. So why are they so bad? Well, here's the thing. These foods can trigger the release of inflammatory messengers in your body. It's like you're constantly poking your immune system, keeping it on a low-grade chronic alert. The point isn't that you can never have these things. It's just about being aware that limiting them is a huge step in the right direction. So we've looked at the heroes and the villains in this whole food story, and it can feel like a lot to keep track of. So let's just take a step back for a second, zoom out, and focus on the single most important idea here. And really, if you remember one thing, it's this. It is not about obsessing over one single superfood or totally banning another one. The real magic happens in your overall dietary pattern. The goal is just to build a diet on a solid foundation of whole, minimally processed foods, lots of colorful plants, healthy fats, and good quality proteins. Okay, so where do you even begin? How about we make it easy, we make it actionable, and frankly, we make it delicious. Let's talk about a simple first step you could try today. Let's make a truly anti-inflammatory hot chocolate. It's so easy. You just gently heat your favorite milk, whisk in some unsweetened cocoa powder, that's where you get the flavanols. Add a little vanilla, a touch of a natural sweetener, and hey, if you're feeling a little adventurous, a pinch of cinnamon and even cayenne adds some warmth and brings its own anti-inflammatory kick to the party. And that's a wrap for today. I'll leave you with this one final thought to take with you. Looking at your week ahead, what's just one colorful, inflammation-fighting food you can bring onto your plate? Because that one small step, well, that's a fantastic place to start.